Hello dancers and dance parents. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do the competition and recital hairstyle of this year, which is going to be a slicked back ballerina bun. In some dances we may change it to just the ponytail portion, but the base of this hairstyle is going to remain the same for all of our dances in the competition and in the recital, okay? Now you may be wondering, Miss Untouched, why are you wearing such a silly headband? Well, that is going to be because I am going to show you how we are going to make this hairstyle, okay? I'm going to be explaining as we go so that if you are the dance parent and if you are doing this hairstyle on your child, that you can be knowledgeable and know what to do. And I'm going to be showing for the dancers who are going to be learning by watching and doing it themselves. So let's go through and I will tell you everything that you are going to need to be able to make a really nice bun. But before we get into that, I do just want to mention the reasoning behind the slick back ponytail slash bun being our recital and competition hairstyle. When dancers are on stage, something that can take away sometimes to the actual performance is the hair. If the hair is all over the place, getting in their face, or even just blowing in the wind, if there's wispies all around, it can be distracting for the audience, which is something that we do not want to encounter. A bun or a slick back ponytail is a really great hairstyle. When we do them correctly, they stay in place wonderfully, and it really keeps the attention on the dance and the movement of your body as opposed to your hairstyle, okay? Which is what we really want to focus on. Obviously, the hair is all part of it, as is the makeup. It makes you look really presentable when you have that nice slicked back look on stage especially. So for this, you are going to need brushes, some tools, and some products over here. So let's go over everything, and then we will hop into the tutorial aspect. I have 5 brushes here, which you definitely don't need 5. If you can, if you want to. We're going to go through each one pretty briefly, just so I can tell you its purpose. This first brush is going to be just your average typical brush. Any brush that you do have at home, this is what we are going to be using first. Now its purpose is to help in the detangling process, as well as to fully get our hair up and back into our ponytail and ready to get the gel in. But this is only used in the first steps, I would say, depending on what specific brush you have and how your hair is acting that day. But this is what that brush is going to be used for. Similarly, there are many different varieties of brushes. This is most similar. This is an unbrush. Now this is more going to be for the detangling aspect. Now this is going to be a little less harsh on your hair if you are sensitive to those tangles than a traditional brush, but both are going to be satisfactory for the detangling process. And as you can see, these bristles are a little bit wider apart, so it wouldn't be too good for any detail work as opposed to this brush where we can really pull back all of our hair. But it's really good to comb through with this one if you are sensitive, like I mentioned. This brush is a very unique brush. As you can see, it has the traditional bristles of an average brush, but underneath those bristles is a pad of boar bristles. The boar bristles' purpose is to really smooth and sleek that hair, and it makes a very drastic difference in the way the slicked back looks, okay? Now, typically when you see a ponytail and you see kind of some stripes in there, that's probably because the bristles of a regular brush, they divide the hair into little sections. but because the boar bristles are so fine, they smooth everything out and make it one unified look, which is very important. And to get a little bit more detail and preciseness, it would be good to have a boar bristle brush that is just boar bristle, not any other kind of components to it. So this one I have here is a thin, sort of slender brush, really good for detail work. And as you can see, that it is slightly curved, that is going to fit the shape of your head very well, so that it is very effective and efficient. Also, we do have a comb, and as you can see here, there's two sides of this. You have the wider angle, and you have the smaller angle. Personally, if I were to tell you to get any kind of comb, it would be the one that is more precise, because when we're cleaning up little edges or little lines in the hair, the best comb to have is one that is finer so that you can really get detailed with it. Now, I'm assuming most of you do have a traditional brush of some sort. However, if that is the only brush you have, I would say that if you were to get one more brush at the store, for it to be boar bristle, okay? We want it to look very sleek on stage. We want everything to look uniform in place, and especially because you are going to be moving and grooving a lot, it is important that we have a hairstyle that's really going to hold through the day, through many dances, and the very vigorous movement of dance, okay? As for products, I primarily use and recommend a gel and a hairspray so that they can work together. Now, you can use any gel as long as it is strong hold. Like I mentioned before, we really want to make sure that the hairstyle is slicked back, nice, and almost hard, if you will. We want it really to stay and be strong and not have any movement or flexibility because of the movement that you are going to be doing. Here I do have the Garnier Fructis Curl Shape Defining Spray Gel. Now, I don't use this for that, but I am using this because it does have a strong hold and it does make your slick back really nice and shiny. But any old gel will work as long as it is a strong holding gel, okay? This one is a spray, which I particularly like because it makes it easy to spray while you have your hair up, but if you have one that's in a jar, that works perfectly as well. Next, you want to have a hairspray. You want it to be really high quality. This is the Chi Keratin Flex Finish Hairspray. This is flexible hold finishing spray. Now you want this to be flexible to strong hold, either work. You don't want it to be so much of a working hairspray. Out of 1 through 5 levels, this is a 3. I would not go below 3. This is going to help get any last flyaways away from your face and slip down. And it also just helps to create that type of helmet feel to the ballet bun, okay? As for hair ties and pins, let's go over that now. So, depending on the type of your hair will depend on what kind of hair tie you use. So if you have maybe thinner hair, I would probably recommend to go with a thinner type of hair tie. Or we have these lovely flexible ones here, okay? Now, if your hair is prone to breakage or the rubber bands of traditional hair ties are too uncomfortable for you, these work wonders and they're very soft in the hair, but they still get the job done, okay? So if you have thin hair, these would really work well for you too. If you have thicker hair, for example, for my hair, I would go for something like a traditional. This is going to be more taut than one of these hair ties that I just showcased. But if you have thick, heavy hair, this is what you are going to want to use, especially to make sure that your hairstyle is nice and secure, okay? It is also very important that you choose a hair tie that matches and blends in to your hair color. If you have dark brown hair, such as I do, you can either use a black or a dark brown hair tie, okay? We don't want to be using this yellow or even this pinkish white color because that is going to stick out and be a little bit distracting on stage, okay? If you are blonde, you can either use this white one or this golden one, and it is important that you pick one that kind of matches or blends into that hair that you already have, okay? Now for pins. For our ballet bun, we will not use any for our ponytail, but when we get to twisting our bun, these are the pins you're going to want to have. If you take a close look at that, okay? Now see, this has a wide end to it as opposed to a traditional bobby pin, okay? A bobby pin like this is not going to work for the ballet bun. It is not going to keep it secure enough. We really want to have all of these pins, okay? So I'm just going to take a moment and gather all of my pins that I have that I'm going to use for my bun, and you can do so as well as you follow along. It would be really great if you did actually practice with me during this video so that you can really learn and watch from what I'm doing, okay? So if you do not have any of these pins, I would go to your local beauty store and pick these up as well. Okay, next one. Okay, I think that is all that I have currently on hand. Now, how many you need will depend on the length of your hair. If you have really short hair, you might not need as many. If you have longer to medium hair, you're going to need a little bit more because this is what is going to hold your bun in place on your head, okay? A product that I do not have on hand currently, but that you will need to have is going to be a hairnet. Now you can buy this at your local beauty store, and basically you are going to wrap that around your bun at the end and bobby pin it in, and I will go over that a little bit later and show you exactly how, okay? And then lastly, you're going to want a beautiful mirror to be able to see your beautiful face in and to see how your hair is looking, and so you're able to adjust and do as needed, okay? Usually I assume you would be sitting in front of a nicer mirror, a bigger mirror, but today, just so I could do this video for you guys, I got my handheld mirror out, okay? Okay, so let's hop right into the tutorial, okay? You're gonna take off any headband that you do have, and pardon my appearance here. I'm just going to take this hair down, and okay, so the first thing I would do is brush it how you normally would. Now I'm going to be using this unbrush so that I don't get the tangles caught too much. And for this hairstyle, you can have your hair looking any sort of way. It can be right out of the shower, it could be blow dried, whatever it is styled. Because it's going to be fully slicked back, you're not going to see any of what's going on with it currently. You want to make sure that you're getting everything pretty well, getting the lumps and bumps out. This brush is lovely. As you can tell, it did not tangle me too much, which is really nice. Okay. Now, the first thing we are going to do is brush all of your hair using your regular brush, and you're just going to brush the top back a little bit so that the upper part of your hair is kind of pushed back. Now, you can either use the tail of a rat-tailed comb or you can use a regular comb, and what you're going to do is measure the middle of your eyebrows and the bridge of your nose, and then you're going to guide it up, and once you reach the middle, you're going to draw a part in your hair, and this is going to be directly in the center, okay? And you can check in the mirror if it's not straight enough or if it's a little wonky, we can fix it. Mine is a little wonky, so if you have to do that, you just brush it back to how you had it before, and then you are going to go in the middle and draw a straight line. Okay. Now, some of us might not have natural middle parts, and that is okay, and so you might look a little funny at the moment, but do not fret. So as you can see, my part is more so in the middle now. And I need you to prepare yourself now with a hair tie or two. I would recommend having two on your wrist just in case, or at least taking another one out and setting it beside you. Now, we're going to use our regular brush to brush up our hair to the side and to the back, okay? Now, before I usually do that, I just gather the hair in my hands and make a ponytail like I was making a super casual ponytail. Now, this just makes it easier to get all the hair gathered. And you're going to take your brush and you're just going to slick back and slick down any bumps, any creases that may be in your hair. Now, when you're doing so, what we want to remember is not to brush it up and back. We want to kind of swoop it down and back to give that bun a little swoop look, which is very flattering, okay? And this is just a rough draft, so do not worry about it being perfect. Do not forget to get the bottom of your hair. That is an often forgotten part. Okay, so as you can see, we've gotten most of our hair flattened and looking like it's in the right spot. Now for this, I would say you want your ponytail to kind of rest maybe 2/3 up your head. You don't want it all the way at the top, not all the way at the bottom. We want more of a medium style ponytail. Now, what I do is I take the gel and I'm going to spritz it all over my hair and then smooth it out with my hands, gather it up, and then we're going to go in with our next brush. Okay? So follow my lead if you are doing this in person. Take your gel. If you do not have it in a spray bottle, just gather it in your fingers and you can wipe it all over your hair. You want to be rather generous with this, as you really want it to be strong and hold all of your hair. Okay, now don't forget to get underneath. Perfect. So now you have gel everywhere, and you want to just take your hands and smooth it out. And this is not going to look perfect or pretty right at this moment, but don't worry, there is more steps to come. You're just kind of smoothing out and making sure the gel is evenly distributed. Making sure to get all of the flyaways that you see. Okay, so now it's pretty much dispersed evenly. I do have a few hairs in between my fingers here, but what you're going to want to do is take any boar bristle brush you have. I'm going to be using the one that has the regular bristles in as well, and you are going to use that same swooping motion to swoop down your hair and pull it back where your hand is waiting in the back here. And you're going to start right at that middle part. You're going to brush down and up, down and up. You're going to get the back straight up. Switch hands. Then you're going to do the same for the other side. Swoop and up. Swoop and up. Swoop and up. Okay. Now, as you can see, there are little gaps in between my hair. Do not worry about that. We will get to that using our boar bristle smaller brush and our comb a little bit later. But as you can see, I got that all pretty much slicked down. The only thing is I did not get back here. Now this is a little bit different. You kind of want to angle it to the side a little bit. So take your brush, get it right where the back is, and you kind of just want to take it back straight a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, depending on what side of the hair you're on. Okay. Because this part does not really have that part creased out, it is more so just going straight back than it is to the sides, okay? So we're going to do that a few times on each side until we get it really to our liking. Until the hair is nice and smooth in all parts. Now once you feel that you have a really solid and really sleek, meaning lack of bumps, look to the hair, you're going to want to wrap the hair tie around. Okay. Now if you do need a little bit more help, you can take your smaller boar bristle brush. You're just going to smooth out the edges a little bit to get anything that is maybe looking a little bit spacey. Okay. So like I said, 2/3 up, and you're going to take your ponytail and wrap it around as many times as you possibly can, making sure that's nice and taut. Now, if you wiggle your head around and you feel some movement, then it would be time to go ahead and add that second ponytail in, which I will do. But before we do that, I do just want to go in with the gel one more time and really get everything slicked down a little better. As you can see with my hair, there are a little flyaways hanging out and it's not as helmet looking as I want it to look. So we're going to do another round of spritz, this time a little lighter. And you're going to use your hands again to just make sure everything is evenly distributed. And you do not want to forget these little flyaways that stick kind of where your sideburns are. You want those to be tucked in and glued to that ponytail, okay? Okay. So now you can go in again with your boar bristle brush and you can just make sure everything is nice and clean. So that would mean slicking back anything that does not have a place. Okay. Now we have the ponytail pretty much in place, pretty much where it needs to go, which is really good. It looks pretty good. We have a few flyaways, but nothing too bad, and we're going to fix that a little later with the finishing hairspray. I'm going to add that second ponytail in. If you need it, please put it in now at this step. Now, something that is really important is to make sure for our bun, which we are going to move on to now, is to make sure that our bun is really nice and clean and neat. So, if you are prone to flyaways or if you have a lot of layers, this is something that I would specifically do for you, and I actually have done this myself. So, you do want to get some gel in your hand. And you want to kind of saturate your ponytail a little bit. Make sure the outside of the ponytail is fully covered in the gel, not sopping wet, but we want it to have a really nice firmness to it. Okay, as you can see, it has the gel in it. It's kind of weighed down a little bit. Okay, now we are going to move on to our pins. Just going to move everything up a little bit. So, this is how you are going to use the pins to create the bun. I'm going to show you up close really quickly the motion that you are going to use to pin your bun in place. So, when we gather the hair, which I will show you how, you are going to take the pin, imagining that it is on your head, near your hair, and you are going to push it out and then in towards the center of the bun. You're going to take the piece of hair out, push it in towards the center of the bun. So if that does not make sense, do not fret. I'm going to show you. To achieve the ballet bun, you're going to fully twist your hair, okay? Fully twist this ponytail. Okay, you want it to be pretty tight, you don't want it to be loose. Now, you're going to fully wrap around clockwise around your ponytail. But before you get too far, we are going to start pinning, okay? So I just want to keep it taut, and then you can use your 2 fingers to hold it in place, taking one of our pins, and you are going to, like I said, put it in the hair, push it out, and then stick it under. Now this pin should go underneath your ponytail. I know most of us dancers, you will know how to do this part because you do it for ballet class every week, but I just want to go over one more time, especially for the parents. Now, keep holding on. You want to make sure you're keeping a good grip on it, and you want to make sure to go out and under to get all around the bun. You don't want to be missing anything. Okay, go to the center, grab onto the hair, and go out, under, and in. The tighter it is, the better. Okay, and now I can rock the rest of the hair depending on how long your hair is. We are going to continue to do that for the rest of the bun. So you're going to go in the bun slightly, push out, push under, and in. Keep twisting, never let the twist of your bun go. And we're going to go all the way around, push it in the next section of the bun, push it out, under, and in. Okay, I am nearing the end of mine, but if you are not, keep going. I'm going to use another pin to go in that portion of the bun, out, under, and in. Now, I did fail to mention that the last piece of your hair is probably way thinner than the top. So you can use one regular bobby pin for this that is going to hold that end in place. So make sure the hair is in between the clips of the bobby pin, and you're going to make sure that goes in and under the ponytail, just like the others. Okay, so this is our bun before we really cleaned everything up, okay? So as you can see from the back, it's really nice and twisted. Now on performance days, I would go in and use a few more pins, a few more of the wider pins like I was showing you, because we really just want to lock it in. We're going to be moving a lot. We just want to double check, make sure everything is all good to go. So after this, you are going to want to apply your hairnet if you do have one on hand. Please use so now. If you do not, make sure you get them before the season starts. You're going to want to take it, wrap it around the bun once you have fully pinned everything in, and then you're going to kind of tighten it up, twist it, wrap it around the bun, and then secure the end with a bobby pin, okay? Now to really make sure that our hair is locked in place, we are going to use some hairspray. Now depending on how much frizz you have, or if things aren't staying in place, or if it doesn't just feel as secure as you want, you can go in with some gel as well, okay? And just for the sake of it today, I will just do a little bit more. We really want it to be nice and protected and sealed off. I also have really curly hair, so my frizzes, when they stick up, they're really, really curly, and you can really notice them, which we don't really want, especially on stage. Whatever you do to the front, make sure you do for the back. Okay. Now for the hairspray, you're going to want to get this everywhere. You want to get it a lot right here where everything kind of frizzes up. You definitely want to get the bun really nice and secured, as well as the back, okay? So follow along with me. And if you want to protect your face while you're doing this so it doesn't get on your face or your makeup, Now we're going to use our comb, and you're going to clean up any edges. You're going to make sure that any of these gaps over here, if you use the fine-tooth comb, it'll really help to spread them out and make them smooth and sleek, okay? I'm going to do that to both sides. Now, if you have any bumps or places where you have a little bit of a problem area, that is not to worry. Like I do, I have a little bit of a bumpy section right here. You can just simply take some bobby pins and pin it down, okay? So I know it is a little bumpy over here, but that's all right. Now, as you can see, I'm going to be spraying down my part. Now, this is a little bit different, but it is really kind of difficult to get the hair at the part really tied down, really locked in. So I want to go over that one more time, okay? Okay. Then we can really get those frizzies all locked into place. Okay. Now this should be the finished look. You want to make sure everything is nice and slicked down. Another thing you can do, which is a very useful tool, is use a wax stick. If you have really bad flyaways and you really need something to glue them in place, using a wax stick really does help with that. I did not use that today just because I'm not going on stage today, but I would highly recommend a wax stick just to have in your collection when you're at the competitions and the recitals, because they really do make a really big difference. And they help to kind of hold your hair in place if your hair is really clean. Sometimes it's hard to style our hair when it's super clean because it doesn't have a lot of friction and hold to it. Okay, so this should be the finished look. You're going to have a mid to high bun, and it's going to be really nicely cornucopia wrapped around your head, and it's going to be slick on both sides. And as you can see, as we move and dance, it's not going to lose its spot, and it's going to remain really nice, slicked back, and looking presentable for the stage, okay? So, if any of you have any questions, if any of you parents have any questions, any dancers, please feel free to reach out, ask amongst your peers, and I will definitely be helping you out and making sure everyone has reviewed this video, okay? But like I said, it's not too difficult once you get really used to it, and as you keep doing it, you will get better and better and better at it. And one last tip for you is if you have a portable mirror of any kind, what would be really a good idea is if you go in front of a regular mirror and you hold this up to check the back of your hair, you can kind of see what you are doing, you can see how your bun looks, and you can see how the back looks with the frizz, etc., which is really useful. So I would also invest in a very small, portable, compact mirror like this one, okay? All right, well, I think that pretty much sums it up. If you do not have any of these products, please go out and get something the same or similar so that we can all have really good buns, really good ponytails, and make sure everything is slicked back right nicely for all of our dances, okay? Okay, well, thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great rest of your day or night. Bye-bye.